a lot of them are advocates. They're pushing the envelope. Okay, but we have a system in California with the independent attorney general who is supposed to be the referee and supposed to be policing these things. The attorney general is not only the top law enforcement officer in the state of California, and we think of criminal law, the criminal justice system, but he's also the chief legal counsel for all the executive and all the state agencies. So the attorney general is supposed to be coming to the legislature saying and counseling them and admonishing them that what you're doing is unconstitutional. Our attorney general now and the recent predecessors have just not done that. And so what we have is basically a runaway legislature, and they're always pushing the envelope because there was a supermajority. So they basically, with a governor who's going to sign whatever they do, whatever they print, he's going to sign it. And so it's runaway. We have a runaway legislature, just like we have runaway agencies, right? Whether it's CARB or Coastal Commission, AQMD, these are runaway agencies, administrative and regulatory agencies that the attorney general is supposed to be there to be calling balls and strikes on what they're doing, and like literally saying you can do this, you can't do that, right? But we have no adult in the room, we have no referee.
Well, you have right now a passionate anti-gun advocate that doesn't seem to be conflicted in completely abrogating the Constitution,
right?
And spending a lot of money defending unconstitutional laws.
So let me put it this way. So Rob Bonta is a career politician. He spent 10 years in the legislature before Governor Newsom plucked him out of obscurity. He was basically a nobody, a no-name, but he was a career politician in the legislature, plucked him out of obscurity and dropped him in as our attorney general, as an appointed attorney general, when Becerra got a job with the Biden administration. So he was a career politician, and he's still a career politician. He's not really operating as a lawyer. In fact, he's never really spent a day in a courtroom. I have, and if we can get into that.
Yeah.
I've done tons and tons of cases, and I'd love to get into that just to share my credentials. But that's what you have right now is a career politician, and he has literally got so much responsibility, and yet he's just not doing his job. And because of that, ladies and gentlemen, I'm not afraid to say this. I have said this on the campaign trail for 6 months, and I see some of my team in the audience. They can testify to this too, George and Linda as well, that we are lawless in California. We are now a lawless state. We are lawless. Anytime you can have a piece of legislation pass in California, like we did yesterday with the Stop Nick Shirley Act, which is a square affront to our constitutional rights, our First Amendment rights, whether it's free speech, you view it through a free speech lens or freedom of the press lens, it is an assault on our First Amendment rights. Where is, and by the way, that was sponsored by Mia Bonta, Rob Bonta's wife. She's a legislator now. She was appointed to fill his vacant seat, by the way, by Newsom. So we have lawlessness because Rob Bonta won't stand up and say, no, you can't do that. So now the governor literally is probably going to sign into law a state law that couldn't be clearer about its violation of the First Amendment. And so that's just one example. I can give you many, many, many others. But we are lawless in California. We are not following the law. You mentioned your example of him not following the law. He's also AB 1955, the state law from 2024 that basically mandated that teachers keep secrets from parents with regard to their children's gender identity and gender transition issues. That went up on litigation, went up through the court system. It went to the U.S. Supreme Court. The U.S. Supreme Court issued an order that basically said that the state cannot enforce AB 1955. Rob Bonta is ignoring it. Mm-hmm. So we are a banana republic at this point. We are a lawless state. So and all of that falls on the Attorney General, ladies and gentlemen. If we are a lawless state, what do you want the governor to do about it? What do you want him to do about it? He can't do anything. Issue another executive order? Like, what is he supposed to do about it? It is the Attorney General who should be doing something about it. He should be issuing opinions. He should be giving direction to his state agencies. The Attorney General also, ladies and gentlemen, this is important to know, that there are 58 counties in the state of California. The Attorney General has purview over all 58 sheriff's departments and all 58 district attorney's departments. So literally all law enforcement agencies throughout the state of California ultimately answer.
Shit.
To Rob Bonta. The fact that we ever had a George Gascon in LA who was soft on crime, or a Chese Boudin up in San Francisco, the fact that those two ever existed in a way where they were operating, that they were soft on crime or not enforcing the law, that's Rob Bonta's fault.
Mm-hmm.
You know, people blame George Gascon, and I say, but you should be blaming Rob Bonta. He allowed that to happen. The Attorney General has so much authority in the state of California that when I'm Attorney General, if I ever have a resistant district attorney again, I get to set them aside and reach down and prosecute those cases myself.
Well, and I guess that brings up another question, because you do have ultimate prosecutorial authority, right?
Exactly.
And one of the things that we have seen is that a lot of law-abiding gun owners are oftentimes targeted by anti-gun politicians, right? Especially some of our brothers and sisters in Los Angeles that have been dealing with that for several years, right? Many people live in jurisdictions that are very, I wouldn't say reluctant. They understand that they're shall issue from a CCW standpoint, but they'll drag their heels. LASD had to get sued in order to do that. What can the Attorney General do to dissuade anti-gun district attorneys from bringing forth prosecutions for minor offenses?
Well,
Yeah.
yeah. So on the one hand, it's just direction to them. So I can give direction to the district attorneys about what our enforcement priorities are, what our enforcement is going to look like throughout the state of California. It's even my job to make sure that the laws are consistently enforced throughout the state of California. So I can write to them directly. If they don't abide by my direction, I take them off the case.
Easy enough.
I seize the case.
No.
It's my case. It suddenly becomes my case. And so I have really total control, ultimate control over all of that stuff. And look, back to the Second Amendment, and we were talking earlier, there's a lot that we're going to do in California when I'm AG to make